Hi everyone. Intel Corporation gave a special update to investors on a special call on January 12th. So I thought I would go through that special call. I highlighted a few key insights that I thought were interesting to those interested in Intel stock. So let's get right into it. So if you've been following Intel stock, you know it's had some volatility in recent quarters as consumer demand has snapped back from the boom times during the earlier parts of the pandemic when people built out their home offices, bought all kinds of electronics, and now they've pulled back on that spending and they're spending more on away from home experiences. And here, Intel's management says that the volatility will continue in the short term as we look at the calendar year 2023. So, management essentially telling Intel investors don't expect things to ease up in 2023. We think this is going to be a full year of volatility ahead. They also talked about the total addressable market. So from 2011 to 2017, that total addressable market was declining. Refresh rates were extending, and they were actually really neat, cool, exciting alternatives to the PC in the marketplace. So people were using their computers for longer, which was not good for Intel. The total addressable market actually bottomed at 266 million units in 2017. That said, they forecast 2023 personal computer total addressable market of between 270 to 295 million units. So in 2023, the TAM is actually higher than where it bottomed in 2017. So despite people thinking that the personal computer industry has peaked, there is still growth ahead. It's above where it was in 2017. And here's how they compute the total addressable market. Here's their formula, which is interesting. They compute their installed base divided by refresh rate plus new users. So how often are the existing users refreshing? And then how many new users are coming into the market? So their long-term expectations for the PC TAM going forward is 300 million units. So a little bit above, let's say if you're looking at the midpoint of 280 million units in 2023, longer term they think that to be 300 million units. So they expect growth ahead for the PC market, which is really good news for Intel stock investors. They're Intel's partners. You're thinking about the partners, the OEMs that Intel works with, like Dell and like HP, that make these computers. Their partners indicate that they're planning for a total addressable market at the low end of 270 to 295 million range. So what Intel management is saying is that they're more optimistic than their partners. Intel is more optimistic than their partners. So there's a bit of a mismatch there, and it remains to be seen who's going to be more accurate in their forecast for 2023 total addressable market. So Intel is assuming a 6.5 year refresh rate. So that means they're assuming that people that have a computer are using it for 6.5 years. In my opinion, that's a little on the conservative side for Intel. Thinking that people are going to use their computers for 6.5 years before refreshing is a bit on the conservative side with the rate of growth in terms of technology and innovation in the computer space. Um, they may update this refresh rate lower, but and this differs between professional users, users that are more intensively using their computers versus those that are more casually using their computers. So I guess balances out to a refresh rate of 6.5 years. All right, and I'll end with these final updates, these final insights. In the developed markets, we started to see a shift of one PC per household to nearly one PC per household member. This was a key development from the pandemic, that people who were living in a household no longer could rely on sharing that one computer in the house, right? And if you recall your own use case, if you had only one computer in your house, you saw how unrealistic it was to share just one computer, because people, your family members, your kids were learning from home, you were working from home, and you had everybody trying to use the computer all at once, which was unrealistic, right? So you started to see the need for every individual in the house to have their own personal computer, which was really good news for Intel. So nearly 400 million consumer devices are more than 4 years old. So that's indicating that there could be a big refresh cycle coming due. We think this trend continues going forward and eventually spreads to emerging markets as well. So this one computer per household member was in developed markets, and if this now becomes the case for emerging markets, that could drive a bunch of new users to Intel use markets. On the commercial side, we observed a steady refresh rate of 5 years, and we didn't see a COVID drive a big change in the installed base versus the total addressable market as they observed for the consumer segment, right? So for the consumer segment, it was a big boost in demand, right? Because you were spending more time at home. All of the family members had to have a computer at home. On the office side, that wasn't so much the case. In fact, it might have been the opposite. People were working from home, so businesses did not need to add new computers with new Intel things and Intel chips inside, and so there wasn't really that boost on the business side. All right, so I thought this update was interesting from Intel. I gained a lot of insight from this. I hope you gained some insight from it if you're a curious Intel stock investor. But that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.